Washington Commanders, Detroit Lions. I was very pleased to see that the Detroit Lions finally came through this week. Um, Looks like they've been trying to get a win like that off their back for a while now. I kind of optimistic about them this year. I think they got the best coach for them right now. He's lighting a fire out under that team like they've never had before. Uh, Jared Goff is finally looking pretty solid, not making mistakes. Um, and they still got to wait for Jameson Williams to come back too. Uh, their defense has a lot of heart, and their offense has some skill players. I really like DeAndre Swift. I really think they underutilize him. T.J. Hawkinson isn't getting as much touches as I think he should as well. Um, but overall, I, I'm I'm really happy to see that they found ways to win. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I ended up picking him up on my fantasy team. He's a I think he's gonna be a stud. I think he fits in that offense perfectly for Jared Goff. He runs a lot of third receiver kind of routes, like little drags across the middle, typical slot receiver routes. And he started playing on the outside a little bit too, and he was having some success from there too. One of his touchdowns was from outside. So um, having him with Jameson Williams coming back, Swift, Jamal Williams looks pretty solid. I'm pretty confident in them. I could see 8 or 9 wins out of the Lions this year, which is quite a bit for the Lions. Uh, as for the Commanders, I after watching last week, I was surprised with Carson Wentz. I was very, very down on him coming into this season, as I think anybody would be, given that he lost the last 2 weeks of the season last year, one against the in Jacksonville, and that's the one that eliminated them out of the playoffs, and he looked horrible that game. So it was nice to see him week one do something. He had 4 touchdowns and had a great game, and this week not so much. It looked like he was kind of reverting back to that roller coaster ride that he took the Colts on last year. Uh, Commanders got solid pieces around them. They got a bunch of B plus weapons. They got depth at their skill positions. They don't have a number one stud quite yet. I think Dotson could eventually be that, but they have a bunch of solid pieces for their skill positions. Their defense, excuse me, they look very uh, average, I would say. Uh, Nothing in particular sticking out with them. So, I think they'll probably end up being a little below 500 this year. I could see Carson Wentz reverting even more back to that roller coaster ride that he likes to take teams on. And I don't think they have enough leadership in that building to. The only way they're going to get wins this year is if Carson Wentz has weeks like he did last week, and I don't foresee that happening too often. The Lions, on the other hand, are building a foundation. They're starting from the ground up. They already got an offensive line. They got great coaching. Uh, lots of lots of intensity and fire with that team. So I'm liking what I'm seeing with the Lions, not so much the Commanders. Um, I don't foresee either team making a playoff run this year. If the Lions get hot, maybe. I'm hopeful. I always like to cheer for the Lions. My dad's a Lions fan, so they were always my second team growing up. So I always like to cheer for them, but I don't like to get my hopes too high. I've watched a game with my dad before, and it's funny because I'll invest my emotions into the game, get into the game, be cheering, and my dad's just relaxing and waiting, and we get to the end of the game and they blow it like they always do, And I'm sitting there upset, yelling, and he's just like, "That's why I don't get emotionally invested into it." But I hope the Lions do good this year, but we'll see.